This unlikely outcome of a nuclear explosion is what worries many opponents of nuclear energy, but fortunately there is a very low probability of this happening. Nuclear energy is the energy released when a nucleus splits into two smaller nuclei. The energy emitted is captured and converted into electricity through a process that boils water to generate steam, which then moves turbines to create a continuous stream of electrical energy. Nuclear power plants are created to control the reaction, but they can be a huge undertaking because they require a lot of time, energy, and money in order to build. The entire world is affected by nuclear energy because nuclear power has developed unevenly around the globe, which then causes some countries to develop faster than others. The beginning of nuclear energy started after World War II when people began looking into nuclear power for non-military purposes, which led to the US creating the first power plant in the 1960s. Supporters of nuclear energy argue that it is the densest carbon-free form of energy and declare that the world needs it in order to meet its energy demands. They also shed light on how eventually the world is going to need to replace the use of fossil fuels. Opposers argue against nuclear energy because they think that the risk of an explosion or radiation leak outweigh the benefits.
Nuclear energy is necessary for the world because it is good for the environment and it is a continuous, effective source of energy.
Nuclear energy is good for the environment because it has very low carbon emissions. This makes it a cheap, viable alternative to fossil fuels. According to the graph, coal and gas both far surpass the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that nuclear energy produces. This proves that nuclear energy is a greener option for energy than fossil fuels are. It also sheds light on how nuclear energy can emit less CO2 into the atmosphere than renewable energies like wind. This is important because it further decreases the growth of global warming. Governor Andrew Cuomo explains that maintaining zero-emission nuclear power is a critical element to achieving New York's ambitious climate goals, thus further proving that nuclear power has the ability to edge out fossil fuels from the world's energy usage.
Not only does nuclear energy help the environment, but it is also an incredibly effective energy source that is able to provide energy for over a lifetime.
Nuclear Energy Institute states that nuclear power plants account for about 11% of America's total electricity generation capacity, but because they operate at high levels of efficiency and reliability, they produce nearly 20% of the country's annual electricity supply. This sheds light on how effective nuclear energy can be in the future. Colin McLinnis states that, worryingly, some are actively disseminating plain disinformation concerning nuclear energy, with one being that a nuclear plant has the same level of emissions as a methane-fueled gas plant. Is this what society has come to? Making false claims about nuclear energy all because of an unrealistic fear?
Nuclear energy is absolutely necessary for the world because it is good for the environment and it is an effective source of energy that will allow it to pave way for a brighter future.